Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. It's 5:32. First of all, welcome, guys. I'm Craig Lund. I'm the Director of Dual Enrollment. I hope not to take up a lot of your time tonight. I've got a little PowerPoint that we'll go over. And then also, if you can see the chat box, I did upload a couple of files. One of those is our information packet that you can download and look at. And we'll actually bring those to you guys on May 18th. When we come to talk to your students. And then also the other thing is something that you need to print out, and I'll send it to you too, Miss Ginger, or whomever you tell me to send it to, and get it to the students beforehand, because the information on one side of it, they're going to need the day we come do applications. It just kind of helps the process a little bit. The side that's a TSAC side, and you'll know the difference when you look at it. They don't have to do anything with that until I get there that day. Okay.
Right. And that anything you uploaded to the chat before we got here, we can't see. So
okay.
You can either put it in again at the end or just email it to us afterward and we'll get it out to everybody.
Okay, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. Okay, so what we're going to do, I've got a small PowerPoint. It won't take very long. Well, I say it won't take very long. It may. And then if you've got questions, we can wait till the end. You can put them in the chat box, and Miss Ginger has graciously offered to pay attention to that for me. And then I'll answer them at the end. But for the most part, when I do these things, I have very few questions because I think we go over it pretty well of the expectations and what we're going to do. Okay. All right. So I'm going to get going. Couple of things. You'll see our Dual Enrollment website on the screen now, and that's also our 800 number. If you want to write that down, you can. And at the end, my contact information will be at the end along with some other folks. Okay. So here we go. I've already welcomed you. I'm Craig Lund. Like I said, I'm the Director of Dual Enrollment. Kim Houston, she is my admissions person. When you do your applications, she gets those and she does all of her magic with it. Here comes Miss Sasha on now to get you in or get you accepted. She'll communicate a lot with whomever you guys tell us is our contact person at Crosstown. So that's very important. Amber Gregson is actually our financial aid person. She went out on maternity leave today. So, but she'll be back in time for the fall to get here. So we don't anticipate any issues with that either. But that's the 3 people part of my team, or 2 people part of my team, and myself. And between us, we work about 1,200 students on a year-to-year basis. So we're pretty excited about that. Okay, so first question with my new people, I'll ask, where is Bethel? Have you ever heard of Bethel? We're located in West Tennessee, obviously in McKenzie. And McKenzie's about halfway between Nashville and Memphis off I-40 West, exit 108. We're about, that says Smyrna, I forgot to change it. We're about 2 hours from Memphis, to give you a point of reference. McKenzie's city population is about 5,000. And then BU has approximately 1,200 students on campus, okay? So let's get into it. Let's talk about eligibility and what gets you eligibility for Bethel and grant eligibility for dual enrollment, okay? And how this works, all right? So initial eligibility to be eligible for our program, like it says, we have to have permission from parents. We have approval from school administration. The student needs to understand they are college level courses. To be initially eligible, Bethel only requires a 3.0 high school GPA, so we don't require any type of ACT subscore or anything like that. And they must be at least junior status. So your upcoming juniors, your upcoming seniors for next year are eligible with a 3.0. Okay, so that's eligibility for us. Okay.
Craig, can I ask one quick question?
May.
It has to be all of these things, or so you have to be a junior. You could not be a sophomore and take a class.
You could not be a sophomore.
Okay,
now,
gotcha.
I will say we've had in the past a couple of sophomores who have taken courses with us, but they're very few and far between. I have to actually get permission from our academic dean to allow those students to do that. So if you have those students, we can take a look at them, and maybe we can make that work too, okay?
I do see we've got some 9th graders on here right now, but they're some pretty smart 9th graders. So
okay. Well, we have to take a look at that. Hi, Sasha. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I thank you.
All right, you're only into the second slide, so you're not far behind. There we go. All right, grant eligibility we're going to talk about initial eligibility and remaining eligible, because those are two different things, okay? Eligibility is set by the Tennessee Student Assistance Corporation. And when we talk about the grant eligibility, mom and dad students, this is what we're talking about, pays for your courses, okay? Eligibility is set by TSAC, is what we call it for short, Tennessee Student Assistance Corporation. Must be enrolled in an eligible high school, that's you guys. Post-secondary institution, that's Bethel, okay? They must be a Tennessee resident, and your initial grade point average must be a 3.0 high school GPA or a 21 on the ACT, okay? So it's very important. That's what gets you initially eligible, okay? And you must have a valid social security number or resident ID to be eligible for the dual enrollment grant, all right? So remember, initial eligibility is a 3.0 high school GPA, okay? To remain grant eligible, okay? To remain grant eligible beyond the first semester of receipt of the grant, you must maintain a college 2.75 GPA, okay? So you get into your first course and you make a B. That's a 3.0. You're good for the next course and the grant will pay for it. If you make a C in that first course, that's a 2.0 college GPA, okay? That means you've lost grant eligibility. You can't gain it back, all right? And it's cumulative. So you take one the first semester, you take one the second semester, you get to that third semester, the first two are averaged together to get you your college GPA, your cumulative GPA, okay? So very important, we understand that you have to maintain at least a 2.75 college GPA to continue grant eligibility. And we'll talk about that in a minute, what the amounts are and things of that nature. So, cost of dual enrollment at Bethel, okay? Our current tuition rate for dual enrollment courses is $500 per 3-hour course, okay? The TSAC grant will help cover the costs, and we'll talk about that more in just a moment, okay? But for some reason, let's say you either lose grant eligibility or you run out of grant money, you don't want to pull off your Hope Scholarship, you will never have to pay out of pocket if you've got to write Bethel a check more than $300 for a 3-hour course, okay? And when we talk about tuition, that's just what it is, it's tuition. That includes your textbook, that includes any tech fees, that includes application fees. We don't have any of that extra cost on top of it. So your textbook's included in the tuition costs. So you won't have to buy another textbook. The only exception to that will be is if you take our music appreciation course. There is a textbook fee on top of that. But other than that, everything else, English, history, sociology, psychology, they're all included, okay? So how does a grant work, okay? And when you get the packet that I put in the chat box, this is in there. The dual enrollment grant is worth $1,200 over the junior and senior year of high school. And it's important for me to note that when we talk about this grant, this is a cumulative grant for you. So if you take a course with us, and let's say you take a course with the University of Memphis as well, it's not $1,200 at Bethel and $1,200 at University of Memphis. It's $1,200 total. Okay, you can do that, and there's some things we have to do, and we'll talk about that a little bit later too, but it is possible, okay? But this is how the grant's broken down. $500 for the first grant. Bethel's tuition is $500, so that means you're zero out of pocket for that first course, okay? You get to the second grant. Grant's worth $500. Bethel's tuition is $500. You're zero out of pocket for the second course, okay? Get to your third course, okay? The grant's only worth $200, okay? But if you're going to use all 3 grants with Bethel and you stay grant eligible, you've kept that 275 college GPA or higher, we'll scholarship you the other $300, so you are still zero out of pocket, okay? Otherwise, you'll either owe $100 or $300, depending on how it works out on the first 2, okay? The fourth course, in our general, and this is where I talk about our general pattern we see with students. Typically, we see most students take at least 4 courses of college credit. So there's no grant money for that fourth course, but if you've used these first 3 with Bethel, okay, and you maintain your 2.75 college GPA, we'll scholarship you the fourth one as well. So you could technically get 12 hours of college credit from us for nothing out of your pocket. It'll be free to you, okay? Otherwise, if you have to pay or you go to your 5th course, 6th course, 7th course, you've got a couple of options there. You can pay 500, or the cost is reduced from 500 down to 300. Like I said, you never pay over 300 out of pocket. So that's another little caveat we can do because we're a private institution. Can I use grant money at more than one institution of higher learning? Yes, and that's what I was talking about. It's 1,200 at Bethel, 1,200 at Memphis. It's all combined. There's just a little bit of extra paperwork you have to do in what we call a consortium agreement, but it will affect your course costs. You will probably be required to pay out of pocket at some point, depending on what you've taken. And all these are case-by-case situations. We can't tell you exactly, but what we do when we see a student who's they tell us we're taking one at Memphis, or we're taking one at Bethel, we contact Memphis, Miss Courtney Orange. We work great together, and we work all that out, and you complete the consortium agreement, and we take care of it from that standpoint, okay? All right, so what if I've used all my dual enrollment grant money and I want to take more than 4 courses? Are there any other options to pay for courses other than out of pocket? Yes, there is. Okay, so you get to class number 4, you've taken it, you're doing great, you got a 4.0, you've made all A's in your first 4. Well, you want to take class number 5 or class number 6, whatever it may be. Okay, so you got a couple of options. You can pay out of pocket for that 5th course, $300, or the 6th course for $300, or you can pull off your first year Hope Scholarship, okay? If you don't know what the Hope Scholarship is, every student who goes to college in Tennessee, if they've got a 3.0 high school GPA or they've hit a 21 on the ACT, they qualify for Hope Scholarship money, okay? That money is worth $3,500 your first year of college. So it's broken down in 2 semesters, $1,750 and $1,750. You may choose while you're in dual enrollment to pull off that first semester Hope at $100 per credit hour. Okay, so let's say you want to take class number 5 and you don't want to pay out of pocket for it. Well, you would send an email to Miss Kim or whomever your contact is at Crosstown. Then they would email us and they'll say, hey, I'm going to use Miss Amelia Jones because I just saw her pop in. Let's say Miss Amelia says, hey, I want to use some of my Hope money to pay for my 5th course. At that point, we will pull $300 off that first year Hope money. So that Hope money for that first course or that 5th course would reduce from $1,750 to $1,450 when you go to college after high school. Okay. Some students use it, some students don't. It's just totally up to you. Okay. And we'll do whatever the student wants to do or the mom and dad wants to do. One thing we do tell students is if they know for a fact or certain they're going out of state, they're not going to stay inside of Tennessee's borders to go to school, use that Hope money because you can't carry it with you. You lose it, okay? So that's an important part of the conversation as well. Okay. Other question we get is transferring of courses. The accepting institution always determines how courses will transfer to them. Now, they'll either go as core credits or elective or courses. It also depends sometimes on the major you're interested in pursuing and what will be accepted. And at the end, when you're done with Bethel, you'll have to request your transcripts to be sent to those universities. Now, what I can tell you from past history, the majority of our courses have never had an issue going anywhere, okay? With the exception of like Vanderbilt, Sewanee, some of the higher academic institutions, because they're real stickler about what they accept from outside institutions. But like Memphis, I'm trying to think of schools around you guys. Memphis, Southwest, Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Some of you guys may venture over into Arkansas, UT, MTSU, Murray State, obviously Bethel. We very rarely have any issues pop up. And honestly, I can't tell you, but of one that I've known of, and it was a psychology course at a school way off, and they finally took it from us. but we had to send them some course descriptions and things like that. Okay. But just remember, the accepted institution always determines how those courses will transfer to them. All right. One of the things we'll do for you, though, if you know that you're going to go to the University of Kentucky, we'll just use that school as an example. If you'll email me, I'll do a couple of things for you. I will go onto their website, and you can do this as well. I'll go onto UK's website or whatever school it may be you're thinking about, and I'll research that class for you. And if it's not in their listing where somebody's did it before, I'll send that to their registrar, and I'll see how it'll transfer, and they'll send it back to us. So we'll try to help you with that process as much as we can. Okay. We're very hands-on. You'll get more emails from us than you probably want to get, but we'd rather you be informed and over communicate than not communicate enough with you. Okay. Okay. Applying. And as you can see, in normal times, we come to the school and take care of the application process. However, with COVID restrictions, students may have to do this on their own. However, and tell me if the date's wrong, we are coming to visit you guys May 18th. Okay. It'll either be just me or Miss Kim may actually come with me too. I first told her it was on a Wednesday, but I figured out it was on Tuesday, and we were worried about getting back in time for church on Wednesday. So it's good it's on Tuesday. So what we'll do, Mom and Dad, if you're listening, even students, the day we come to do applications, we'll do the Bethel app, we'll do their dual enrollment grant application, and we'll also collect some parent forms that you have to fill out for us. Okay. And again, that parent form will be in that packet that I'll load up here in just a few minutes into the chat box. You can download it. All right. So the day we come, students, you will need to know your social security number. This makes you eligible for the dual enrollment grant, and it also we'll need it for our application. And another little form that I'll send to you, it'll be a form that looks, it'll look like this. Okay. And I know it's backwards, but it's all the information you're going to need to complete your application. And if this is completed and you bring it with you the day that we come, it makes things a whole lot easier. Okay. And then the back side is a TSAC form that I was talking about that we'll complete that day we come. Okay. But we walk you through everything. Now, that doesn't mean you can't go online or not. If you want to try to do our application, you can. Just be sure if you do, you click apply and choose dual enrollment. But we really like coming and helping students do that, especially for our new schools, because that way we get to meet you face to face and get to know you a little bit more personally on the front end. Okay. That's my spiel a little bit. Here's my contact information. There's my email address, my desk number, Miss Kim Houston, that's her information. And then her desk number as well. And like I said, Miss Amber's out on maternity leave. So if you call her phone, it's going to go to Miss Kim's phone right now. And if you email her, it's going to go to Miss Kim as well. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready for questions from you guys. Anybody have questions? And I'm going to try while they're answering questions to get this off. Has everybody had an opportunity to write these down? Okay. All right, let's see here. Stop sharing. There we go. All right, and I'm going to pull over. There's that information packet. And there's the other sheet that I held up, okay? Can y'all see it in the chat box? Can you see it? Oh, okay, I got thumbs up. Wonderful, perfect. Okay. I also, go ahead. I'm gonna also just go ahead and drop this parent form in there. It's gonna be in the packet as well, but it's in there. That parent form, students and parents, that will be the only physical piece of paper that you have to return to us, okay? And when you get into it and read it, what it is, it's going to kind of outline some things that the students are going to do the day we come to our application. It kind of reiterates some stuff. So I encourage you to read it. If you have questions, please email us and ask us, and we'll be glad to answer it. All right, Ms. Ginger, what'd you have?
My guess is that some students would like a little bit of information about just what the class experience is like. This will be the first time anybody from Crosstown, well, yeah, for the most part, has done a dual enrollment class. And so maybe just, I think they're all asynchronous and online, but like what could they expect from the experience?
Okay, so she's right. They're all asynchronous. They're online. So in other words, you can work on your classes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You don't have to be online at any specific time to see a lecture like we're doing now. Okay, they're all pre-shot lectures. So you can go in, and I'll show you in just a minute what I'm talking about, because I've got it pulled up on my other screen. I'll share my screen again, okay? But if you'll imagine in your mind, 15 tabs across the top of the screen, and each tab is a unit, okay? You'll have a read section, which will be your book, okay? That's where your textbook will be found. You'll have an attend section, and that's where your lecture is for the week. Then you'll have a discuss tab, and that's like a discussion board, just like you would discuss in a classroom amongst your peers, a topic you're talking about. You'll do it on a discussion board instead. And then the complete section will be where you put your homework, okay? On the complete section, the only people that can see what you put in there are you and your professor, okay? On the discussion board, anything you put on that discussion board can be seen by anybody in the course, in the class, okay? To ease your anxiety a little bit about using an online system for the first time, when you first begin this process and we get into the fall, our classes actually start on August, I'm looking at the calendar. They'll start on August the 9th, I believe. Is it the 9th or the 16th? When do you guys go back to school?
August 9th.
Okay, so what I would do for you guys, there's an orientation course that we put the students through, okay, that teaches them how to use VCamp. And I'm going to show it to you in just a second, VCamp, what I'm talking about. All right, that will be loaded. I'll have it loaded for you by the end of July. So if you'll go in and do your email, check your email, you'll have how to link into it and get into it, okay? But that orientation course, there's no academic credit for it. I'm your teacher in it, okay? But all it is, it just teaches you how to use the system. You don't have to work. I mean, there's assignments for you to do, but every assignment you do will help you when you get in your classes, so you're not trying to hunt and guess and figure out things, okay? Now, are you going to know everything? Absolutely not. I'm not going to tell you are, but you'll have 85% of it down where you'll know how to get into your book. You'll know how to watch your 10. You'll know how to post on the discussion board. You'll know how to take a quiz in your complete sections, or take a test, okay? Or upload your work. We'll put you through that, okay? Once you apply and we get everything taken care of, the day we come, whatever email address you put on your application, that will be where Miss Houston will send you an acceptance letter, okay? And we'll remind you of all this stuff again when we come. I know I'm throwing a lot of information at you, but once she sends that acceptance letter to you, inside that acceptance letter will be access to your Bethel email address, okay? And at that point, you will start using your Bethel email, and that's where I'll start sending you a bunch of stuff to get you lined up for your online course. And that will get you rolling before you start your actual courses, okay? All right, I'm gonna share my screen one more time. And okay, you guys should be seeing 3 students, correct? Okay. All right, so we use a system called Virtual Campus, or VCamp for short, okay? It's housed in Martin, Tennessee. They're very hands-on. They have 24-hour tech support. So if you get in there and something's not right or something's not loading, you've got a couple of options on how to contact people, but they're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Yes, even on Christmas, they are there. So I'm just going to kind of show you what VCamp looks like. So when you log in, you'll kind of get an idea. So this is the opening screen, and I'm going to go into my reviewer account. Now, what I'm going to tell you is you're going to see some stuff that won't be the same as a student account, and I'll switch over in just a minute, okay? Let's see here. So when you first log in, okay, the first thing you're going to see when you get your access, you'll see this general announcement, okay? Now, anybody who's got access to an account can see this general announcement. And what I'll do is I'll put stuff up here about Bethel. I'll put stuff up here that you may need to know as you're in the school year. For example, seniors requesting transcripts. I tell them how to do that. If you want to come visit our campus, we have some preview days. That's where all this information's housed, okay? I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but just some of the Cliff Notes version. And I'm going to take you into a course. I know it's what everybody wants to see, what a course looks like, okay? So let's go into this history course, okay? And I'm going to take you back to the very first announcement, if I can find it, because it's way back there. Load more. And then I'm going to go into a student view. Okay, student view, here we go. All right, so let's say you're going to take US History 211, okay? This is what the course outline looks like, all right? Like I said, you've got a read tab, an attend tab, discuss tab, complete, and apply. Some professors use it, some don't. Basically, that's what that is they want to give you some kind of extra work, they can put it there, but most people just put it up in the discuss or complete board, okay? So when you click the read tab, your textbook will pop up, okay? And there it comes. It'll take it a second to load. There we go, okay? So whatever's in this Unit 1 read, your professor will tell you read pages whatever for this week or today, whatever it may be, okay? But that's where your book is, your ebook. You can see you've got some neat little things here you can use to highlight stuff if you need to, you know. There's all kind of neat little tricks you can use here to kind of help you, okay? Your 10, this is your lecture. And there's a little button up there. Oh, I mean, I know why it's, there we go.
Welcome to Introduction to American History.
So that's what your lecture looks like. And it'll kind of tell you down here, this lecture is 34 minutes long, okay? All right. Discuss tabs. Now, I can't go into these because they're locked out, because this is back the very first week of the course, okay? And this is Mr. John Norwood. He's one of our U.S. history teachers. But to use the discussion boards, let me go into instructor view. I can get into it that way, okay? So what you would do is you would come in here, open it up, and then this is just an introduction for you for his course. Every professor is different, okay? When you do the orientation course with me, I will have you do something like this, okay? But it kind of outlines some things that he requires in the course, all right? And then, as you can see, this is where the students have all answered his work, okay? And you kind of, I can go and show you some of this stuff. If this section was open and was able for you to get into it, there would be like a little button that says reply and then submit here. And when you hit reply, you put your answer in there, hit submit, and then it will post. But every student that's in this course can see what other people write on the discussion board right here, okay?
Guys, does this look kind of like what you do in Canvas sometimes? Amelia?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. We used to have Canvas here at Bethel, but we didn't use all of the bells and whistles, so they went away from it. Now for dual enrollment, I've always had BCamp. That's what I know. But it's pretty it's along the same lines. So you're used to discussion boards and things like that. Announcements, if you click that, it's going to take you right back to that announcement page. I can't click the grade book, unfortunately, for FERPA reasons. But that's where you'll see your grades and keep track of your course as you go. The other thing you can do is obviously email your professor, and I can show you profiles. That's Mr. Norwood. He knows more about history than 200 history books combined. The man is unbelievable. You ask him any fact about anything that's happened, he can spit out things that you never think about. But that's a teacher for this. But as you can see, you'll have the opportunity to put in here a profile picture. And we'll do that in the orientation course. And what this is, it's just so you get to know people and they get to know you more than just what's written on page. They can put a face with a name, okay? I don't encourage you to put your cell phone in there like some students have. That's not a good thing. So I don't encourage you to do that. But all your contact information for your professor is here. Some will put their cell phone, some will not. Mr. Norwood is not a full-time faculty member. He's adjunct. He actually teaches at Henry County High School up the road here from us. But he's very accessible, okay? And obviously the other thing we'll talk about a little bit will be the syllabus. Probably the most important document you will read when you start your college journey is your syllabus. As I like to say, it's the Bible. You follow it. If there's a question you have about how much something's worth as far as points, when something's due, refer back to the syllabus. And Mr. Norwood's pretty good about putting things up on his announcement board, you know, when we go student view.
So one thing I might just interject here, just from perspective of, you know, these are all Crosstown High students. There will be some courses, like you've been using US history as an example, but that's a course that we will want you to take with us because that's a pretty key part of our project-based learning experience. So, but there are a lot of other courses that Bethel offers that are either something that we offer as an elective, but you might want the dual enrollment version, or it's something we don't offer. Like for example, psychology is something that we've had a ton of student interest in the past, but we've never had a teacher to teach it. So like that would be a great example of something that would be a really good thing to take for dual enrollment. But if you have any questions about whether there's a course that you can take away from Crosstown versus needing to take it at Crosstown, just let us know.
Yep. And there's a psychology textbook, okay? A psychology teacher that you guys will probably have is Dr. Janae Young. She's taught this course for me for 4 years now. And I'll just tell you on the front end, get ready to discuss a lot and get ready to share your thoughts because she is very much into the course. She is actually by trade a counselor and does a wonderful job of working with students if they get behind, but she's fair, but she's stern, right? So fantastic course. Her reviews are always excellent because she likes to talk to you. I mean, she'll give you her cell phone number, say, give me a call if you need to talk about something. I mean, that's the type of person she is. Side note, both of my kids work for her husband at their company. So I feel good about them working for Janae and Mr. Ash, just because I know both of them. I'll try to get you a profile picture of her. Yep, there she is. See, her cell number's in there because she wants you to communicate with her. But that's our psychology course. You mentioned that one, so I can show it to you. Others that we do online, public speaking. This is a public speaking course we have online. The first time somebody suggested we offer this online, I went, how do you do a public speaking course online? But actually, it's very popular. The students like it. Miss Amy Bryant, she's a full-time faculty member at National State Community College. She teaches adjunct for us. And she's been wonderful so far. We've had her for about 3 years now. I'm very excited about her. Probably one of the funnest teacher you'll have is this one. If you take sociology, Miss Stacy Freeman, she is a full-time faculty member here. She is over our sociology department, and you will learn about all kind of stuff in her course that deals with sociology and people and how that works. The other thing that she will recommend and try to get you to do every year during spring break, fall break, and in the summer. She's also over our global studies program. And what she does there, and it's actually open to dual enrollment students. It costs a lot more, but you can do this. She will take you to different countries. And you'll go there and you earn college credit while you're doing hands-on things, doing community service, learning about culture. For example, she's going to Colombia, South America this summer. She's taking a group of students. She's taking some students from Greenfield High School. My daughter, Emily, she's a senior here at Bethel, and she's a sociology major. She went to Colombia her freshman year with Stacy. But she's been to Belize, Colombia, Costa Rica, Guatemala. She takes all these trips that she invites the students to go, and it's through a partnership with Bright Light Volunteers out of Texas. And it's a pretty big deal. And I promise you, if you take her course, she is going to give you the information on it. If you guys have students that are interested in that type of stuff, she would come to Memphis to do a presentation.
I want to say we probably need to have a separate conversation about that, because I think we definitely would have some kids interested in that.
Look at Miss Sasha smiling.
Amelia has a question in the chat about, she says the theology course. So there was a New Testament and an Old Testament course. Is that right, Amelia? What was your question?
Yes, I wanted to take the Old Testament course. I just want to learn more about the Old Testament. But my question was, I guess, just who's teaching the course, and is the course like based off of Catholic? Is it Presbyterian? Is it Baptist? That's really just my only question. It'll
be based off, of course, we're a Common Presbyterian church. So our New Testament, Old Testament courses are based off of our Common Presbyterian beliefs. Okay. So present day religion is the best way to describe it. That course, if you decide to take that, will actually be inside of our CAS classes. You're still doing enrollment, but you'll actually be in with actual college students, okay? Because we don't have a big what's the word I'm looking for? Big request for that, because we deal with so many public schools. There's not a need for it. But if we have those students who come around who ask for it, I will try to put you into a normal CAS class, which just means you're online, but you're just in there with normal college students. Every freshman that comes on campus here at Bethel, they're required to take Old Testament and New Testament. They have to take it. So there's always plenty of sections. So I don't have an issue with that. And we could work that out if you want to do that.
Okay, thank you. I'll definitely think about it.
Absolutely. Anybody else? Okay. More recap.
I know that we will have more questions. I think I was telling Ms. Haynes here just a second ago, I think we've trained folks to know that we'll send out recordings afterwards, so they don't always show up at the live events. But I've talked to several kids who are interested in some courses. So
perfect. Okay, so to recap a little bit, you got my email address and everything. I've uploaded the documents. May 18th. I think we're set for 1:30, correct? All right. I'm an early person, so I will probably be there before 1:30. And I got your little email about come early because find your way around. I'm excited about what I'm getting myself into a little bit. So I'll be there probably way before 1:30. But that day, again, we'll do applications. We will do our grant applications, and we'll register for courses. And when I say register for courses, guys, whatever you put on this form that we're going to have you complete, it's a Google form. It goes right to me and Miss Kim. That is by no means what you have to take. It's just a way for us to get an idea of numbers for the fall and what we're going to need as far as teachers and things like that. Because what we will actually do is at some point, we will ask you guys at Crosstown, whoever my contact is there, for rosters, so we can match what we have on our files matched up with what they're taking at the high school. Does that make sense? What you guys have them registered for. That way we mesh and everything's good. Okay. And
Bryce has a question. She says, can you change classes if you want to switch out?
Okay. So once you start, okay, when classes officially start, not the orientation, but when that August, whatever I said, August 9th date starts, And since you guys are coming back on the 9th, I'll have to ask, I may actually be able to push your guys' actual official start date to the 16th, give you a week, okay? And we'll go over this when we come to applications. You'll have 10 days to drop out of that course from the start of it, okay? Within that 10-day window, if you drop out, it's like you never existed, okay? You don't get charged tuition. We won't have to charge you a drop fee or anything like that. On day 11, if you're still in there, you're in. You can drop after day 10 on day 11, but at that point, you would get charged tuition, and then you also have to pay a drop fee of $25. The good thing is, if it's your first course, it'll probably just be you lose one of your dual enrollment grants, okay? As far as dropping throughout the semester, you can drop a course at Bethel all the way up to the midpoint, and actually a little bit beyond. And it goes down as a W on your transcript, so you don't really get dinged for it. But at some point, and I think it's like March 29th, it'll be like week 10 or 11 of the semester. If you drop after that, then it goes as an F on your transcript, okay? Very, very, very rarely do we have a student drop past the 10 days. I mean, we have it happen. I'm not going to sit here and say we don't. But if they do, it's because they're just too overwhelmed. It's not they can't do the work. It's just, well, I've got football practice, I've got cheerleading, I've got band, I've got this, right? And again, it is a college level course, so the demand is going to be a little bit more than a typical high school course. So that plays into it some. But we go over all that with you when we come that day. And like I told you in the email, Miss Ginger, typically parents don't come to our application days. But if you allow that and you want to, more than welcome. I have no problem with it. You know, I really wish I could have came down there tonight and did the face-to-face parent meeting. I've been up since 4 o'clock, guys. So traveling. It's been a long day, but anyway, I'm looking forward to working with you guys.
Any other questions, guys, before he leaves? And again, he'll be with us during flex period next Tuesday. I see that we've got a few 9th graders on here. So if you are really serious about wanting to do this, you may want to come that day. So come next Tuesday. And that's totally fine. Just let me or Miss Haynes or Maggie know that you're coming, and we'll get you to the right place. But it would be during flex on Tuesday. But if they couldn't make it up here in person, they can still apply, right? Like just doing everything online.
Sure. And I've got another packet, and I'll show it. I'll send it to whoever you tell me to. That way you'll have it. It's that one. This is right here. Miss Kim created this. Y'all can still see my screen, right? Okay. I mean, I'm just going to flip through it real fast, but it's step by step with arrows, with screenshots, where to go. What I'm showing you here is everything we're going to do the day we come. Every single bit of this is what we're going to do. Looks like a lot.
And I will say, we've talked to a few different institutions about partnering with us for dual enrollment. And the reason that we are having this meeting right now with Mr. Craig is that they have made it so very easy and simple for our students to enroll. So thank you to Kim, your colleague.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be a good partnership.